Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, wondering what's new with the flu? We'll share the latest info and treatment options. Transferring real estate could be the real deal to deferring taxes. We'll get real with how it works. Then, afraid of falling? We'll provide protections. Plus, we'll offer an innovative option for dealing with early-stage dementia. And we'll present positive perks to being an older adult.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. Every year you're told to get your flu shot. So you may think, well, nothing's changed, so why bother? Dr. Roy Buczynski has joined us in the UH Broadcast Center to tell you there's always something new with the flu, including a vaccine made just for those who are 65 and older. Dr. Buczynski is the Chief Wellness Officer at University Hospital. So welcome back to the show. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Now, before we get to the age-specific vaccine, let's talk about why do we have to get a flu shot every year?
Well, the flu strain from last year is not necessarily the same as the flu strain for this year. So we make a vaccine that basically anticipates which viral strains are going to be prominent in the community for that year.
Okay.
Now, what happens is, although this is very effective and powerful, it is not always perfect. And sometimes the viruses undergo mutations, and sometimes these viruses and these bugs are smarter than the drugs.
Okay. So we got to, your advice is going to be we need to get a flu shot every single year. Everybody, right?
So the guidelines from the CDC recommend that everybody from the ages of 6 months and older should be vaccinated. So basically, the people that are at highest risk are those at the extremes of age. If you're over 65, even though you feel young, your immunity is lowered. And if you're under the age of 5 but over 6 months, you are at high risk and you should be vaccinated for sure in that high risk category.
Okay. But as I mentioned earlier, there is this flu vaccine for those 65 and older. So talk about that particular type of vaccine.
Right. So this vaccine is a high-dose flu vaccine. So when you administer it to a patient, you're going to get a higher increase in the antibodies and therefore in the immunity and the resistance of that individual. It's important in the 65 and above category because those individuals are at higher risk because they may have lowered immunity. So you want them to have a higher immunity. It has been shown that a high-dose flu vaccine lowers the risk of morbidity and mortality by 36% in individuals over the age of 65 compared to a normal dose vaccine.
All right, so what if we get the vaccine and we still get the flu?
So the treatment very much is symptomatic in most cases. In other words, giving a person hydration, and that includes chicken soup as well, but also treating headaches, treating muscle aches, getting lots of rest and fluids. There is also an antiviral medication that if you take that in the first 48 hours can actually lower the severity as well as the duration of the flu illness.
All right, so how can you tell if it's the flu and not a cold?
That's a great question. The hallmark of flu is fever, muscle aches, and headaches. You feel like you've been hit by a Mack truck. The cold is a little bit different. You may not have a fever, you'll have a running nose, you may have a dry cough, but you don't necessarily have a high fever and you don't necessarily have muscle aches.
Okay, and you can't get the flu from the vaccine, right?
It's impossible. The flu vaccine is a dead vaccine. It's inactivated. You may get a little bit of muscle aches or a little bit of a sniffles or a low-grade fever for 24 hours. It's not the flu. It is a reaction to the dead antigen.
All right, great information. If you haven't yet gotten your flu shot for this year, don't wait, get it now. It's the first line of defense in protecting yourself from the possibly deadly consequences of the flu and its complications. My thanks to Dr. Buczynski for sharing this really important flu-fighting information.
For more information, call the Center for Lifelong Health at University Hospitals. at 844-312-LIFE. That's 5433. Or visit www.uhhospitals.org/lifelonghealth. Next, real estate transfer tips. But first, in the U.S., there are some interesting items people can put on their pizza, such as chicken, pineapple, or even an egg. But Brazil goes green with a popular pizza garnish. What is their topping that's tops? We'll serve up the answer when we return.
Hilltop Village Apartments is retirement living at its best. Residents enjoy a wide variety of activities and living services with all large first-floor apartments, private screened-in patios with beautiful park views, daily dining room meals, free laundry facilities, 24-hour staff, and so much more. Enjoy safe, comfortable independence at a very affordable price. Call today for a tour and learn how you can get your first month's rent free. Hilltop Village Apartments, retirement living at its best.
In Brazil, green peas often appear on pizza, along with other tip-top toppings such as raisins, carrots, and quail eggs. Anyone up for a slice?
You have a property you want to sell, and it's going to make you some money. The trade-off is it'll be time to pay some taxes. But there may be a way to trade paying those taxes for a later due date. Jim Lineweaver is here to explain. Jim is a certified financial planner professional with the Lineweaver Financial Group. So welcome back to the show.
Good to see you.
This kind of sounds like trading spaces, you know? So how does this work?
It could. It could be, but this is not for your primary home. This would be for any type of investment property that you would have had. So it could be a single home that you might have rented out, a double, a duplex. It could be a commercial building. So a lot of times you depreciate an asset like real estate to a certain level, and then if you want to sell it, you're going to have to pay a capital gain on that. But you might want to stay in the real estate business, so you want to go buy something else. So instead of paying those capital gain taxes back to Uncle Sam and then take the net and invest it, in real estate you can do what's called a 1031 exchange. So 1031 is the IRS code that it falls under, but it means that you can exchange a like property for another one and not have to pay any taxes. You just have to be very careful how you do it because it has to go through a third-party administrator. You can't just get the check or the cash it and then try to flip it around because you will pay taxes in that way.
Okay, so you're swapping houses. How easy is it really to find somebody who's willing to swap these buildings?
That's not easy, okay, unless this is your like full-time kind of hobby or a business, I should say. But what ends up happening is to find that one individual you want to swap houses with is very remote. However, this 1035 exchange or 1031 exchange gives you a window. So it says if you want to sell your property, the money will go to this escrow agent, and then what's going to happen is you'll have 45 days to maybe identify another property, but then you're going to have to close within 180 days. So you have to be very careful of how you do that. So that's what's listed on the screen here, because if you don't follow these rules and if you don't have a third-party administrator or somebody else handling that money, then what ends up happening is that this will all be negated and all taxes will be due.
And we don't want that.
No.
You really definitely got to follow the rules.
I don't mind paying my fair share, but if I could postpone it or gain more wealth by it and pay them later, that would be a better thing.
Absolutely would be a better thing. So you've got this intermediary. That's a delayed exchange or something like that?
Yeah, so that's why they put these stipulations on there. They give you a window of time, but you definitely have to make sure you follow those guidelines. And when we talk about like properties, it doesn't have to be a single family home for a single family home. I could take a single family home and go into an apartment building. I could go into a duplex. I could exchange it to a commercial building. I want to buy a strip center. It can be a lot of different things, but it's all going to fall maybe in that rental side. And then also if you say, if I take a house and I want to go buy land, and maybe I'm going to build a house on it eventually to live in, well, then you still have to hold it as an investment property for so long.
Okay.
And then there's certain guidelines with that, but then maybe eventually if you want to parcel something out and build your own home on it, you can. But all these things are laid out and you really have to stick to them.
Okay, so what if you find a replacement property before you can sell your old property?
Okay, well then just flip it. Okay, so now it's called a reverse 1031 exchange. So what that does is says, okay, well, I found a property that I don't want to buy and I haven't been able to get rid of this other property yet. Same rules would apply. These have to go through usually like limited liability companies, so the tax structure is a little different.
Okay.
But you're going to have the same 45 days to identify that other property, get that closed within 180 days. So you're not kind of too stuck. You can reverse the process, but it still gives you a window to say, okay, I'm going to buy this other property. Now I may have a fire sale over here on the other one, but hopefully you can manage that well, still get some good profits out of it, and roll it back into that other property and just reverse the process.
And is it do-it-yourself?
No.
It doesn't sound like it.
No. You can exchange, you can actually identify the properties and do all that research and everything on your own. You can never touch the money in the process. That's the key. You have to go to one of these other mediaries to get it done.
Okay.
Otherwise, Uncle Sam's going to be knocking on your door and you
Absolutely.
got to pay the bill, which is what we're trying to prevent, at least for the time being.
Okay. Postponing taxes on your sold property is possible, but it does take some very precise planning. For help, give Jim a call. His number's next.
To find out more, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or log on to www.lineweaver.net. Next, freedom from falling. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Have winter safety concerns? Arm yourself with information by attending Winter Safety Tips, a presentation by Sean Sutton, physical therapist at University Hospital Warrensville Outpatient and Neuro Rehab. The event will be held Wednesday, December 6th. For details, call 440-735-4200 or email Lori, L-O-R-I, .robinson@uhhospitals.org.
Other than falling in love, there's no such thing as a good fall. Taking a tumble can hurt your health in so many ways. Erica Huffgard is here to tell us that falls don't have to be a part of the aging process if you follow her prescription for prevention. Erica is the Quality Care Navigation Supervisor at Medical Mutual of Ohio. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you're claiming falls aren't part of the normal aging process, but older folks do seem to have a lot more falls.
Yes, that is true. Actually, 1 out of 4 older adults fall every year, and less than half of them actually tell their doctors, who really need to know.
Yeah.
And even the CDC says that 800,000 patients that are hospitalized, that's because of a fall injury. But really, falling is not part of the normal aging process. It's really the lack of education to prevent those falls.
Okay, so how do we prevent being one of those statistics that you mentioned?
Well, you definitely need to know your risk factors for falling, whether you're on certain medications or if you're going to have a procedure. You know, a lot of medications have side effects, so you want to know the risk factors of those side effects and how to manage those risk factors so you can accommodate the risk that it presents.
Okay, so can you give us some overall ideas about the best way to stay on your feet?
So the best way to stay on your feet is really, like one of them is give your body time to adjust. So when you're getting out of bed, either in the middle of the night or in the morning, you really want to take your time getting out of bed. So, you know, kind of rolling on your side, waiting a minute, then going to the sitting position, and then wait another minute before you actually get out of bed. And really, you want to fall-proof your home. So removing those area rugs that you have, those ones with those fringes, like those
trip or slip right out of them.
That is such a big tripping hazard. You know, really restrict those down with double-sided tape. Make sure your walkways, definitely your stairways, and your bathroom is well illuminated with lighting, and install those handrails on your stairs and in your bathroom. It's important to have those grab bars, and also put that rubber mat on the bottom of your tub. That is also very important. But there's actually a fall prevention checklist on the CDC website. You can go there and refer to it, and it kind of walks you through your home, and you could check off those certain things to prevent those falls in your home.
Ooh, good tip.
Yeah.
And we're coming into winter weather now,
Yes.
and it makes walking outside kind of scary, and maybe you more likely to fall. I mean, do we have to stay indoors and hibernate?
No, we definitely don't want to hibernate. I know we all get that cabin fever. So you definitely want to make sure that you have someone to be able to clear your walkways and your driveway for you. Take shorter strides when you're walking. There's actually a perfect, like not a perfect way, but a good way to walk on snow and ice. So you take shorter strides, bend your knees a little bit and kind of walk out at an angle. And you want to make sure that you carry a flashlight with you. We know it gets dark earlier, so illuminating your walkway. Have good boots. You know, I know that we all want to make sure that we're going to have those good boots with the I'm losing my thought here.
The traction
Yes,
underneath,
the
right?
traction on the bottom. And make sure you always carry your cell phone with you, just in case that you have to call for help. You have that with you. You can call a neighbor or a loved one to come check on you.
Okay, and you have one more suggestion, no matter what the weather is out.
Yeah, so no matter what the weather, you always want to work on your balance and your strength. So research says that Tai Chi is a very good program to improve your balance and strength. So, you know, you could always enroll in those with one of your local senior centers. And actually, the Ohio Department on Aging has a program called Matter of Balance. So that's specifically around fall prevention. So if you can get enrolled in the Matter of Balance program, that's also on their website for the Ohio Department on Aging. You can get all those locations and go through, it's like a 6 to 8 week course that you can take to prevent those falls.
Really, really good tips today.
Yes.
A fall can seriously impact your health, and that's why Erica is serious about helping you prevent one. Follow her tips to fall-proof your life as much as possible. My thanks to Erica for sharing such upstanding information.
Learn more about Medical Mutual of Ohio by calling 1-844-606-5387 or visit www.medmutual.com/go. Up next, to share is to care. It's time to get up and go, an exercise segment on golden opportunities.
Hello everybody, I'm Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and we're here today to show you how to work every major muscle in the lower body with one simple exercise. You ready to go?
I am ready.
Let's do it. Okay. We have a chair next to us here in the studio. You should have some firm surface next to you just in case you get trouble when you're at home. All we're going to do is stand with good posture. We're going to keep our feet shoulder width apart. We're simply going to take one big step out in front of us, dip down so both legs are at about a 90-degree angle, and push yourself back up. Alternate. Let's go ahead and switch legs, down and up. In this particular movement, we want to do at least 20 repetitions so we can at least get 10 for each side. How you feeling?
Dynamite.
Dynamite, all right. Notice Lori has great posture here. She's doing good. Make sure you breathe. Exhale with exertion, inhale as your body's resting. And now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
A diagnosis of dementia is unsettling, not only for patients, but also for those who will be caring for them. But there is a way to prepare and to create a plan that honors everyone. Carol Whitlatch is here to explain. Carol is the Assistant Director of the Center for Research and Education at the Benjamin Rose Institute on Aging. So welcome to our show.
Thank you, Lori, for having me. I appreciate that.
Now, this approach involves creating a plan of care, but not necessarily in the way many people might think of that. So describe this.
So this is the SHARE program, and SHARE stands for Support, Health, Activities, Resources, and Education. And it's designed to help families in the early stages of dementia to help learn what each person wants for their care, what they think is important, and what they value. And with that information, we help create the SHARE plan, and I can talk a little bit more about that, but basically what that does is it creates a plan for the future. Past research has shown that persons with dementia have very strong opinions of how they want to be cared for, but often their family caregivers don't know what that is. So this program helps them talk about it and get to know each other's preferences for the future.
Okay, and SHARE stands for something, right?
Support.
The name. So what does it stand for?
It stands for Support, Health, Activities, Resources, and Education. And those are the 5 components of the program. We support families, we give them healthy activities, resources, and education about the disease.
Okay, so where do you begin?
So you begin by calling Benjamin Rose, and we can talk about that. But basically, the counselor comes and talks to the families about what's important to them. And then with that information, the caregiver learns much more about what their loved one wants, and the person with dementia feels very supported. You know, it's very empowering to know that your family caregiver knows what you want and how you want to be treated, especially if you haven't really talked about it. I mean, how many families don't talk about this?
Absolutely.
And sometimes even our own don't talk about it. We're doing the research. But with this information, the caregiver then can really figure out a plan for the future to help them make the best choices.
Okay, so you know what the person with dementia is looking to achieve, and you know what the caregiver what their understanding of it all is. So how does this then come together to create this plan?
Well, what's really innovative about Share is that there's tools that we use, different materials, including an iPad application that we use as well. But what I want to show you right now is the care circles, if I can.
Okay.
And what happens is you ask the person with dementia, who would you like to take care of these different tasks, bathing, dressing, etc. And then we ask the caregiver, who do you think they want? What happens is we get this. We get this beautiful, these 3 circles, and what it looks like is that all those tasks are in the caregiver, the red circle, and all these other tasks are not so much in the red circle. And so the caregiver says, oh my goodness, I can't possibly do all this. The person with dementia says, I can't expect you to do all this. Let's figure out what we can do that's more balanced. So we take the next few minutes and we take some of the tasks and we move them from the caregiver circle down to a different circle, and it becomes much more balanced. I'm just doing these sort of randomly. But the caregiver then knows what the relative wants, and the person with dementia is empowered. They're moving around these little tasks so they can really feel like they're making these decisions.
Right.
Because as you get older and as you have more larger symptoms of dementia, you can't always make those choices. You
Right.
can't always voice those preferences.
So this is more like early dementia when everybody can still talk about what
Exactly.
needs to be done.
Exactly. And then you have a care plan. Some people put their plan of care on their refrigerator and actually refer to it throughout the course of the disease, which is really exciting.
So you can always remind that person if
Exactly.
they forget.
Yeah, exactly.
It just makes so much sense. And could it be used in other applications?
Exactly. Right now, it's only for dementia, but we have some research going on funded by Retirement Research Foundation. It's going to look at chronic conditions. So not only can we have people with dementia doing this, but people with other chronic conditions who need this as well. This is not
absolutely,
just
yeah.
not just for not just uniquely for people with dementia, but other characteristics as well.
All right.
Yeah.
So call Ben Rose, right?
Absolutely. 373-1738. Yes.
All right.
That's it.
By including those in the early stages of cognitive impairment, or maybe even chronic disease, in the discussion of what their care should look like, caregivers and families can truly honor their loved ones' wishes. The result is also a plan of care that works for everybody. To learn more, use the information that's coming up next. And my thanks to Carol for taking time to share this approach.
Thanks for having me, Lauren.
Find out more by calling the Benjamin Rose Institute on Aging at 216-791-8000 or click to www.benrose.org. Next, advantages of being older.
Right now, proton therapy, a revolutionary treatment for many types of cancer, is available for the first time in Ohio and only at University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center. That's the future of cancer care. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center. Right now, the trusted experts of University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center and the most advanced cancer-fighting technologies are in 17 community locations. That's leading-edge care where you're most comfortable. That's UH Seidman Cancer Center.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Then here's your second chance, because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back to share how age does have its privileges. Have you started noticing aches and pains? Do you ask yourself when you started to groan every time you got up from a chair? Where did all those wrinkles and gray hairs come from? And is it really hot in here? Is there anything positive to becoming a senior? Yes, there is. And here to talk about perks to becoming an older adult is my senior law partner, Mike Solomon. So you and I have already been invited into the ranks of AARP upon becoming age 50, and how you define what senior means, what age that is, there might be different perks at different ages, but let's start with tax planning for retirement.
Okay. Now, first of all, we're taping this show in the beginning of November, so there might be all sorts of changes happening in the tax law by the time we air. But as of now, in 2017, you can deduct, if you make IRA contributions, $5,500. And if you're over 50 or over, though, you get an extra $1,000 on top of that. So you can put more away the older you get. Now, there are all sorts of rules because it's a tax law, right? So they make a lot of different rules. So if you're not covered by any employer's plan, you can qualify for that larger deduction. If you are covered by an employer plan, some of that total deduction may be ratcheted down.
Okay. Well, it is a great perk for retirement. Your
Right.
extra $1,000 a year can really make a difference.
Yes.
What else is there that's a perk for a senior class?
Okay, well, it depends on what the definition of senior is. And so each place, businesses kind of come up with their own definition. And so if you're defined as senior, maybe you can go to a grocery store, they might have a special day for seniors, or they give them a discount. Or when you do shopping, you go airline tickets. Sometimes they have senior discounts for that. Car rentals, all sorts of events you go to. Sometimes they'll have it, or just fast food restaurants will have senior discounts. So they each define it their own way. And if you don't see anything, it doesn't hurt to ask if you want to ask.
Okay. So how about our own personal real estate? Anything that is a good perk for owning real estate as you age?
Ohio has a benefit for older people. If you're 65 or older, your property tax bill can be reduced. They do that by taking your value of your house and reducing it by $25,000. Now, since 2015, they now have an income test, not only age test, but an income test. So your income has to be below a little over $31,800. It's below that, you can qualify for a reduction in your property tax, and statewide they estimate it saves around $400 a year for people.
That's still worth it. One last perk for eating out.
Well, if you don't mind eating it very early, they have the early bird specials, and you can go and you'll get a discount.
All right, good perks.
Yes.
Glad I'm a senior. See, there are perks of becoming a senior. To go along with the maturity and the wisdom, of course, there's some savings too. To learn more, give Mike a call. The number's next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information, or to schedule a speaker for your organization, or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us today. On next week's show, be sure and tune in for lots more good information. We're showing some of that on the screen. But until then, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
If you'd like to join our kitchen conversation, visit our website, www.goldenopportunities.tv. Like us on Facebook. Call us at 440-742-GO-TV or email us at kitchen@goldenopportunities.tv. We'd love to hear from you.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.